So now let's start with question number 11 onwards. So question number 11 is a financial advisor recommends to her client that he buys a 6-year 1,000 face value bond that pays an annual interest of 5%. The yield to maturity is 44.5%, and the client tends to hold the bond as an investment until the maturity. So now the question is telling you, so this is time zero and this is time year six. Time is 6 years and this is time where it all starts. So you are standing here at this point. The face value of the bond, face value is $1,000. What does this means is at the end of the time you will get $1,000. The company is going to buy back the stock for $1,000 from you. The annual interest is 5%. 5% of $1,000 is going to be $50. That's your coupon payment. This means PMT. Yield to maturity, I/Y is going to be 4.5%, and the client tends to hold the bond as an investment until maturity. The value of the bond today is closest to what? So in this question, the future value of the bond is $1,000. N is equals to 6 years. I/Y is 4.5%, and the PMT, the payment which the client is going to receive, is $50. So how much should be the present value of the bond right now? Now, if you understand this thing and think about it, so you will be able to. Okay, let's plug these numbers in our calculator first. I'm sharing my screen. I'm sharing my calculator with you. So let's first make a habit of clearing our work. So our future value in future, we are going to receive $1,000. That's our future value. You click on future value payment. So this is in cash inflow, and I am assuming cash inflow is a payment. So I am assuming 50 as a positive number. Present value we actually have to calculate. I/Y is 4.5%, and N is 6 years. Now we are going to compute our present value, and this is going to be 1025. And this means that this bond is actually a bond which was sold at premium 1025.79. So 1025 is our answer. But we could have also guessed this from the coupon payment, the 5%. Here the coupon payment is greater than the yield to maturity. So this actually tells us something that we discussed previously, somewhat here. So here the coupon payment is actually greater than yield. So this is actually an indicator that the bond is going to be sold at premium, or the bond is going to be traded at premium. And if we followed that thing, that learning, we would have saved this much time. And there are going to be difficult questions also when we will be attempting a CFA exam. So we would have saved this much amount of time. So we would have roughly saved somewhere around 4 minutes, maybe. Okay, so now I hope you have understood what I'm trying to say. And if you want, okay, rather than doing this manually, I would suggest you to start practicing these questions on your calculator. As of now, I hope you have downloaded the BA2 Plus application on your mobile phone. or you have bought the calculator from e-commerce website, or you have visited the store, Texas Instrument calculator. So wherever it's convenient, just to buy this calculator and try using it so that you are familiar with the calculator functions, and that's pretty much it. So now let's move to next question. Question number 13 is a pure discount instrument with a face value is 1,000 million, matures 12 year. This is our N. This is our future value from today. It I've if okay, it's if its yield to maturity is 3%. That's our I slash Y. And this is our I slash Y. Here there is no payment, though no PMT. So that's why, because the reason of no PMT is it's a pure discount bond. Pure discount bond, a pure discount instrument with a face value of 100 million, matures 12 years from now. If its yield to maturity is 3%, its price today is closest to what? So here the PMT is going to be zero. So we actually have to calculate our present value in this question. Plug in these numbers in the calculator function and you will get a value of somewhere around 70 million yen, 70 million Japanese yen. Okay. So now question number 12. Question number 12 is, an investor looks at her monthly brokerage statement and notices that the yield to maturity on her 5-year corporate bond with a 4%. So here it's the time, and annual coupon is PMT, has gone from 4.2 to 3.8 this month. So the coupon payment is 4, has gone from the yield to maturity is now actually decreased from 4.2 to 3.8. The statement will reflect that the price of the bond over the last month has done what? So here in this case, the coupon payment is 4. At there are two cases. Case number 2, case number 1. Previously, the coupon was less than uh, the yield to maturity. So here the yield to maturity was 4.2 and the coupon was 4%. Now the coupon is greater and the YTM has actually decreased to 3.8%. So when we look at this question, if you want to calculate it, you can calculate this thing. I will just calculate it for you. Just give me a moment. Here, coupon is 4%. Yield to maturity is, let's assume the future value, the face value of the bond is $100, and the coupon payment in case number 1 is $4, and in case number 2 also $4. This is our PMT. In second case, the yield to maturity I slash Y is actually moved to 3.8%, and here the IY is 4.2%. Now, third thing we have is time. So n is equals to 5 for both, and let's calculate the present value for both of these situations. I'm sharing my screen again with you, the calculator screen. Okay, so we have the $100 is our face value. That's our face value. That's what we are going to receive in future. So we do not have any payment. Okay, we do have a payment of $4. Yes. Uh, I slash Y increased, so decreased. So 5 is our time, and I slash Y. First, I'm going to plug in 4.2. I slash y, compute the present value. So present value is 99.11 dollars was the present value at that time. So this is a negative number because so this is how much you actually have to pay. That's why it's negative. So it's going out of your pocket. But PMT is payment. You are receiving the coupon payment. That's why it's positive number, and the future value you are going to receive $100 at the end of the period. So that's why I have kept those numbers as positive, and this number which you are going to pay the present value, that's negative. Now, uh, IY was 4.2. I plugged in 4.2. Now I am going to plug 3.8 as an IY. This is going to give me uh, a present value of 100.90. This means, let me just take you back to the question. The question was, the statement was saying, the statement will reflect a bond price that over the month has done what? So the bond price with the decrease in yield to maturity has actually increased here. We actually have to pay attention to this thing. So here the bonds, the because of the change in the yield to maturity, the price of the bond has increased. One thing. After we will discuss fixed incomes. One thing you need to pay attention to. Don't get confused. So that I'm telling you this thing in advance. So price, bond price, and the bond value. Value of the bond and value of the price, value price of the bond. These are both. No, these are two different things. These are two different things, and we will discuss about this once we will study our fixed income subject. So as of now, let's just understand and then let's not confuse ourselves. Uh, you actually need to pay attention because when it's very difficult to identify which this they're actually testing your concept. So they do not tell you which subject they are testing this question from, and all these questions are mixed up in the exam. Uh, in the morning session, you will get you will get questions from five subjects, and in the evening session, the questions will be from five subjects. Yes, that's five subjects in the morning and five subjects in the evening. So that's something the CF Institute actually does discloses. But with every question, they do not disclose this question is from which reading or uh, which subject. Once you will read fixed income, so you will be you will I mean you will somewhat sense that most of the questions are interrelated, and that's the whole purpose of CFA is that you are able to get a holistic approach in between subsections. So if you are able to connect all the dots back to I mean back to each other, then only you will be able to understand what CFA does. So that then only you will be able to be a then only you will be a good uh, analyst, and this is actually a quality of analyst. So that's more of that's actually there is a lot of analysis rather than just you actually have to put in your brain. These are actually you actually have to put in your brain to these questions. That's what I'm trying to say in simple words. Okay, okay. Now let's move to question number 18. So question number 18 is about a bond pays annual coupon interest of 40 pounds. Interest is 40 pounds and return on its face value is 1,000. So this is the face value we are going to say. This is the future value. N is 5 years. Here the PMT is $40. Yield to maturity is 4.5. And if you observe carefully in this question, the yield to maturity is 4.5% and The coupon payment is 4%. So coupon is 4%, yield to maturity is 4.5%. So yield to maturity is more and the coupon payment is less. In this kind of cases, when the yield to maturity is more than the coupon payment, yield to maturity, yield to maturity is more than the coupon payment. The bond is going to be traded at discount rate. Yes, and if you look here, all of these are actually um, discounted figures. So it's not easy to identify. In this question, we do not have any advantage of using this information. So what we will do is we will plug in these numbers in our calculator and quickly understand, quickly figure out the present value. So the future value is $1,000 first. This is the future value. $40 is the payment. Uh, Payment is 5 years. So 5 is the number of years. 4.5% is IY. And now we're going to compute the present value. So present value is going to be 407, now 978. So the correct answer is 978. So this much you should be I mean, your formulas, the concept should be on your fingertips only. Then you will be able to pick you will be able to go through or pass the CFA level one exam. And yes, CFA level one exam is actually very lengthy. Some of these are there are somewhere around 90 plus LOSs or 90 plus readings or learning modules. So it's very difficult, and you actually have to pay attention to it. Uh, I believe in old-fashioned studies, so that's why all these sessions are. I mean, there are multiple sessions for a single reading, and what I'm trying to do here is, if you actually have clarity at your level one examination at the foundational level, so you will be able. This actually will help you in your level two and level three examinations, and you actually need to clear the concepts, the learning outcomes. Always study the learning outcomes first, then understand the learning outcomes, and after you have gone through this the the subject, sorry, the if you have when you have gone through the reading or lecture, then I would suggest you then ask yourself, what have you learned? Are the information that you have gathered, the information you have learned, is that enough to answer the learning outcome? Okay, so question number 21 is, a share of George Co. preferred stock is selling at 56. This is, it's actually selling at 56. This means this is the present value, right? Now the dividend is 4.5. This is going to be the PMT payment has a perpetual life. The perpetual life means this is a question. This is a question where we are going to use the perpetuity. So the preferred stock is being selling. The preferred stock is the stock is selling at 465. The preferred stock is selling at 65. Pay the dividend of 4.5, has a perpetual life. The rate now here in this question, perpetuity is perpetuity. The price of perpetuity is actually payment divided by rate. And in this question, we actually have to find the rate. What is the rate? Payment is 4.5 and the perpetuity, the price of perpetuity is 65. So what we are going to do is we are going to, the rate is going to be here and we are going to reverse engineer it. Perpetuity is going in the denominator of payments. So the question will be solved by 4.5. We are going to divide it by 65. And this will give us somewhat around 6.92 or 7%. And we actually do have a option of 6.9%. So this is going to be our answer. And understand the question first. So you have to please pay attention to the questions before you start solving these questions. Okay, so question 15 is a 15-year-old coupon, German, 15-year-old zero coupon, a 15-year-old zero coupon. So this means no PMT, no PMT, or PMT is equals to zero. Has an annualized yield of 1.5, I slash Y is 1.5. Assuming annual compounding, the price of the bond is $100. 100 euros of principal is closest to what? First of all, this bond, actually there is no payment. I am going to assume the coupon is zero. Coupon payment is 0%. Okay, no, not, just give me a moment. The payment, PMT. The PMT is zero. 15-year N is equals to 15 years. The rate I slash Y, and please pay attention, it's negative 1.5%. The price of the bond, the price of the bond of principal is closest to this. Assuming annual compounding, the price of the bond, this is actually giving you future value of euro 100. Okay, sorry. Assuming annual compounding, the price of the bond per 100 euro of principal is closest to what? Understand the language of the question. This they are saying at the end of the time when you are getting 100 euros, how much? What is the price of the bond? Principal. What is the price of the bond right now? So they are asking the present value. Once you plug in all these numbers in the calculator, you will get a value of somewhat around. Okay, let's rather than guessing it, let's solve it let's solve it on our calculator. So I slash y is 1.5 and minus negative sign. I'm going to press IY. 15 years is N. Present value actually we actually have to calculate. This is a zero coupon bond, so PMT is zero, and the future value is 100. Now we are going to compute the present value, and the present value is 125 euros, 125.45 euros. Okay, this refresh button is not available in the calculators. So rather than what I'm doing is I'm refreshing the calculator every time I do any calculations, so that it clears everything out. But the process we are going to follow is second plus clear work. Press second, then clear work. Okay, so back to the screen. So the answer is 125.45. 125. So that's the best fit for us. Now, question number 23. An investment product promises to pay a lump sum of 25,458 at the end of 9 years. If an investor feels this investment should produce a rate of return of 14% compounded annually, the present value is closest to what? So here N is 9 years. Rate of return is 14%. This means I slash Y is 14%. An investment product promises to pay a lump sum of at the end of this. This is future value FV. If the investor feels his investment should produce a rate of return of 14% compounded annually, the present value is closest to what? And in this question, we do not have any payments. So no information regarding payment. And what we have to do is simply plug in these numbers in our calculator and we will be able to calculate the value uh, for this question. I hope as of now you are practicing uh, these questions on your calculator, and it's very important that you start practicing the functions of calculator so that You get familiar with them. Now, question number 24. So, question number 24, Billy Jones is creating a charitable trust to provide six annual payments of 20,000 each beginning next year. How much Jones set aside now at 10% interest compounded annually to meet the required disbursement? If you understand this question, so this question is actually here what the question is asking is they are actually asking you to compute the and present value and the future value. He's going to make annual six payments. PMT it's given 20,000. I slash Y they have given 10%. How much Jones set aside now? Sorry, not the present. They are actually asking you to compute the present value, not the. Okay, yes. So the future value, Jones is creating a charitable trust to provide six annual payments beginning next year. So he is going to make six payments: one, two, three, four, five, and six. 20K one, 20K, 20,000 first, 20,000 second, 20,000 third, 20,000 fourth, 20,000 fifth, and 20,000 sixth. So there is no future value. They are asking how much he should set aside right now. So that out of this they are asking the present value, how much he should set aside at a rate of 10% and for six payments, six annual payments, six annual payments. So here they are actually asking. So by the end of this period, the future value is going to be zero. Here the future value is zero. They're asking about how much right now I should set aside. So think of this like one, two, three, four, five, six, seven. So let's assume that I am setting aside 120,000 right now. No interest is given to me. I am taking out 20K every year. So this is going to be with me. This is going to support me for 6 years. Now, if I'm being given a interest rate, let's assume that X percent of interest rate. So it's going to compound itself and it's going to help me with these payments. This money at the end of first year, there is going to be an interest payment. I'm going to take out 20K. First installment I have taken out. And so that's what they're asking you. What, how much money should I set aside right now so that I am able to take out 20,000 installments for 6 years. And by the end of the sixth year, I have no obligation now. So I am creating a charitable trust and I am by the end of the time, by the end of sixth year, I am free from my obligation now. So once you plug in these numbers in the calculator, uh, payment, you are paying out something. Yes, you are paying it out. So you can use, if you use payment as negative number, your present value is going to be a positive number. If you plug in payment as a positive number, your present value is going to be a negative number. Okay, let's plug these question numbers in our calculator first, and let's see how do we calculate the the present value when the future value is actually zero. So the future value is actually zero. So this is the future value. N is 6 years, so 6 years is the number of years. 10% IY payment is 20,000. PMT compute present value. So this is going to give us a value of 87,105. 87,105. So 87,105, we actually do have an option of 87,105. Okay, now let's start with question number 25. So question number 25 is, just give me a moment. Okay, so question number 25 is asking us, given a discount rate, the present value is 5. The present value is 500 received 3 years from now. Discount rate I slash Y. So PMT is going to be 0. PMT is going to be 0. Present value is going to be this. So future value, we plug in all these numbers in our calculator and we will be able to calculate our present value. Hmm. Question number 27, investor purchases a 10-year $1,000 par value bond that pays annual coupon of $100. So this is the coupon payment, PMT. Market rate of interest, I slash Y. Par value, we are going to receive. So I hope you are familiar with what par value is. So we are going to receive this thing. Uh, this is the future value and this is N. Here, what is the current market price of the bond? You actually have to calculate the present value. What is the present value? Question number 20. Next question. So annuity will pay 8 annual installments. So this is the number of years here. PMT with the first payment to be received 1 year from now. Interest I slash Y. What is the present value of the annuity? This is an annuity. So annuity means the future value is going to be 0. And the question which we discussed here, this is actually a question. This question is actually an example of annuity. At the starting of the period, you are going to pay something. And at the end of the period, you are going to get something. So these are two different things throughout your tenure. Either you are getting payments or here you are paying payments. Here you are receiving PMT and here you are paying PMT. So there is a difference. So you are going to pay. So paying where you're paying, that's an example of annuity. And where you are going to receive, so how much are you going willing to pay today? So these kind of questions, these are perpetuity. Perpetuity and annuity, these are actually opposite to each other. Somewhat around opposite, not exactly, but most of the, I mean, the definition wise, the best way is to, if you want to remember what is the annuity and perpetuity, so just remember one of this and this will help you to remember what the other one does. Annuity, when we talk about pension funds, employee benefits, and perpetuity is like s- uh, perpetuity is you are going to receive constant cash inflow. Perpetuity is constant and constant cash inflow, but there is a cash outflow at the starting of the period. This is a cash outflow. And in annuity, you are paying throughout the tenure. This should be opposite, I think. Let me just remove it. So in annuity, you are receiving a lump sum, a big This is what you are going to receive at the end of the year. So you are going to receive, this is a cash inflow. So always understand the difference. Always understand the question before you start answering questions. Next question is, assume that 1 and 2 year risk-free rates are, so this is 1 year and this is 2 year. Using the cash flow additivity principle, 1 year investment rate 1 year from now is closest to what? So we have not discussed uh, cash flow additivity as of now. So I think this is placed in this, along with this question was placed in this LOS mistakenly. Okay, let's move to next question. We will discuss about cash flow additivity once we will discuss cash flow additivity. So I'm going to make a note of this. Question number 32. A perpetual bond with a face value of 100,000 pays annual interest of 5%. The bond is quoted at a yield of 7%. Face value is this 100,000. So this is the future value. Annual interest is PMT, not PMT. So my bad. I/Y. Bond is the yield. The bond's yield is quoted as annual interest. Okay. So this was correct. PMT. This is PMT. And this is I/Y. So if you see here, the yield is I/Y is greater than coupon, the PMT, and I/Y is greater than PMT. We have three options: 140, that's a premium, and both of these are actually discount. So, okay, in this case, it's not going to be a premium bond of obviously, because in I/Y is greater than PMT, so it's not going to be a premium bond, it's going to be a discount bond. But by how much? For that, we actually have to plug in these numbers. So present value, we actually have to calculate. This is our future value. And N, we do not have any N, so I'm assuming we can use N as 1. So this will pretty much give us uh, this will actually help us to calculate the price of the bond. Hmm. So question number 33 now. Question number 33, next question is a pure discount instrument with a face value. So the face value is, this is our future value. 8 years is our N. Its yield to maturity is negative 1.5. I/Y is present value is we actually have to calculate, and you can calculate this using the calculator, and here the PMT is actually 0. So question number 35. In question number 35, in our next question, investor pays this much for a zero coupon bond. So PMT is 0. This is the present value. Face value, we have face value means future value. Time is N, and yield to maturity is 3%. I/Y. So they have actually given everything. Yield to maturity of the bond is closest to what? Bond with similar risk profile. This actually is not the yield to maturity, but this is actually something and in one added information with relation to other bonds. So should we incorporate this